Hallo iedereen, heel erg fijn dat jullie naar deze Q&A kijken van de Mole Agent. Hier is ook Maite Alberdi uit Chili en we gaan deze Q&A in het Engels voltrekken. Hi Maite.
Hi.
Very nice talking to you through Zoom. A first question for your wonderful film, The Mole Agent. What was your inspiration to make this film? Is it a very personal inspiration, or what is your connection to the topic?
I think that my inspiration starts from a topic, and another topic probably. It was completely focused on private detective world. I wanted to make a film noir documentary, a private detective documentary, and I started researching all the private detective agencies until I met Romulo, who is the protagonist, the main the detective of the film, and he allows me to work as his assistant for a while. And working as his assistant, I learned like different kind of cases. I saw different kind of mode, and then I see the retirement home case. And with that case was like, this is a kind of case that allows me to enter to another place and to speak about another topics. And Sergio appears in the film with an ad in the newspaper. And I think that he's the one that changed the focus of the film at the end, because the private detective research was not really important, because for him was not really important.
Okay. Please add a little on the casting process. We see it very literally in the beginning of the film. So there is a up-tempo, very characteristic soundtrack. And then we see different men applying for a very specific function, a role that is out of the box. How did was it a real audition we saw? Yeah, of course. Please, was it difficult to organize? Yeah.
Was a real audition. We were going to work with a mole that usually work with the detective, an 80 years old man. And a couple of weeks before start shooting, he break his hip. So Rocco decided to put an ad in the newspaper, and that's how Sergio appears with the ad in the newspaper. And we thought like nobody's going to came with that ad, but we realized that a lot of old people is looking for a job and they want to be active, and was really surprising. And Sergio really arrives on that scene.
And the other men as well, they also were attracted.
Yeah, all of them. It arrived like 50 people.
Wow. Yeah. You focus in the first stage also on technology, like facilities, or how they approach with technology, and it was quite fun to see how far away they did not manage to take a picture, or they took 15. And Romulo, the main detective, he appears quite severe, like was strict. Was it in the script as well to give him that attitude towards the mole, the snitch?
No, he's completely like that. He's completely like appear in the film, and yeah, he has that attitude. And something that people ask me all the time, that it's like, yeah, you see that scene, for example, when he's learning the phone, and you have like one frame and the other frame, and you see like in a fiction film like too many takes of the same situation. But it happened because he spent so many time trying to teaching to him. Like you see only one scene, but that situation of the phone take like 1.5 days. So it's edited with a lot of material of that learning, but you see only 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So and yeah, you see like the perfect dialogue before, because like we have a lot of material, so you choose that kind of stuff, but he was completely him.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. Yeah, there is some prejudices around someone old, or about around like the character of a detective who's strict, and you break them. Like at some points, yeah, Sergio is very human. We see his emotion very authentically. Also in his approach later, when he enters in the nursing house, there is subtleties we can notice, and you gave a lot of attention to these elements, which are not. I think that it might have been difficult to write it into a script. So you went with what happened, and then you changed a little. What was it like that, or did you have like clear lines to follow?
But what kind of elements are you thinking of?
Well, like the conversation, or some conversations Sergio had with the ladies. For example, the lady, quite touching scene when she tells about the memory loss.
Yeah. No, that like exactly like what things were super controlled. It's like Romulo things, not because I control him, but because I researched before and I knew what kind of cases he worked, and I saw different cases. I exactly knew what he was going to ask all the time. So my script was completely focused on the mission and on the thing that Romulo was asking to him all the time. And Romulo told me what he's going to ask every day, so I knew which kind of calls Sergio was going to receive. So in that case, yeah, I was planning for that, but when Sergio was not really concerning about that, and he started to establish relationships that were super important for him, and he construct the space for intimate moments, taking the time to speak with women and with her friends, yeah, some kind of scenes appears as the scenes that you are mentioned, like when Rubira says like, and he says to her like, you can cry, like please feel comfortable to cry, and she cried in front of him, and she cried in front of the camera too. So it was like a space construction that he makes and that we also make as a crew there, that in that moment for me was like a breaking point to say like, and I was crying too in that shooting, and it was like, okay, my case of Masa, or my idea of the things that he has to research here are only an excuse, but the life is happening in this situation for me and for him, and the rest it's like a stylistic approach to this film, but not the heart of the film. The heart of the film was on what were they feeling, and that was something that I was not expected on the project. Like, and that is was when I say my starting point was different. It's I feel that the approach was different, because for me the narrative was the client, the clues of the case, like how do we move with the case.
Wow, wonderfully. Yeah, that's the magic. You feel like there's something happening, and as a public, or as a camera, was like the fly on the wall. We don't expect the camera registering it because it's so pure. And I'm curious now, technically, how did you prepare the camera and the crew around in the open air space? We see sometimes some flowers very close to the camera or to the lens, and then a bit further on the characters, but they're not characters, the people. we cannot talk about characters here.
We prepared with time. I think we spent 4 months there, and we were there like all day, and that for 4 months. And some days we never shoot. We were like waiting until things happened. And with patient, the actions happen in front of the camera. So with patient, that characters appears and we learn how to shoot that world. Like we know the routines, we know which character moving which way. We study a lot, like film a reference, and with that film a reference, like we decide the stylish, like the kind of frame, the kind of lens, the kind of light, but we establish that things, and then it was an exercise of patience and to try to be a fly in the wall, but with time, like exactly like wait until that kind of things happen.
Yeah. Were there difficulties technically? At some point we see a very meta scene where a few ladies sitting on a bench and they talk like, there is the camera. They really point to it. It was funny, but later on we don't. It's only one time. It's the adjustment. The first time probably they see the whole team. Were there interruptions around the technical upsets and how you prepared such scenes?
It was a decision of the editing. I was not prepared for that scene, and we have to try to find it in the material, because what happened, we edit the film and we start showing the rough cut, and everybody told us like, well, but do they know that you were shooting them? Like it was a documentary, like how do you enter? So we thought, okay, we have to show in some way that the cameras were there, that what kind of crew we was. My explanation to the daughter, like, okay, we enter, like the people doesn't know that we are making a spy film, but they know that we are making a film. But that kind of stuff at the beginning, then you say like, okay, this is a documentary, and we can enter to this film. And I'm not asking the question all the time about the cameras or the presence of the camera. The cameras are there. We are there. Like I am part of that world. And then like, yeah, probably it for the audience, it is in the mid place between the construction and documentary, and I don't care, but at least they are not like, they leave that question, I think, in certain points.
Yeah. You refer to the daughter of Sergio, who is she's very attached to her father, and she's a bit worried. He lost his wife only a few months before. I think it's we only see her 2 times. One time she visits with her family, and then in the beginning. But her role, the position of the daughter is kind of interesting, because we see Sergio is not like, he is in the middle of the film, of course, but he has other persons around, and we see is, as I said before, very human. But we also learn that one has to fulfill different roles. So he's father, he's friend, he's grandfather. And does the film, was it on purpose that you want to split up these roles and let like the audience feel also that one has to fulfill different roles, and it's not always easy to categorize them all and be the same person, strong in front of your daughter, but a little bit more weak in front of people of your own age, friends.
Yeah, it's super nice what you're saying, because I never thought it like that. It's exactly like how we or everybody have different roles in life, and do you see it super concrete? And what do you see probably on the film in his different roles? It's like he choose which role he prefer, like, or not he choose, but he choose in which of that roles he put his heart. Like he's not putting his heart in his work. For him, it's a work. And okay, he has a salary for that, but he's not emotionally committed with his work. He can be, because when I make the research, the mold that I have was super commit with his work, but in this case, his commit is with his friend, with his daughter. So you see all the different kind of roles of the same person in the same place too.
Till the end, we feel there is like a little conclusion around his investigation. So there is a message for the daughter of the lady who has been spied on, or who the investigation is fulfilled for. What is actually the message you want to get across? Probably everyone felt a personal message, but what is like the thin red line around?
I think that he constructed a so clear message at the end that he's the one that gift us as a gift the give us as a gift the point of view, like saying, like, I don't care if the place, he didn't say it in this word, but I interpreted like, I doesn't care if the place is good or bad, it's good. Like, they can make mistake, like as I can make mistake in my own house, like you have accidents or the bathroom can be dirty, like, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad place. But if you see information without context, like if someone tell you like, yeah, there's someone that steal things, yeah, of course, things disappears in that place, but it's because Marta steal things. And when you understand the context, you think that, okay, it's not so terrible, that kind of things that disappears. Yeah, it can be a nightmare if you see it from abroad, but it's only information, but you are not understanding the information in the context. And he's saying like, okay, the only terrible thing, it's like they are feeling alone, and that is not responsibility of the nurse and of the people that work here. Like, here is a social and family responsibility to establish bridge between retirement homes and society, and between retirement homes and families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually quite a new phenomena that people end their lives in retirement houses. Like, it's, I don't know how old the concept of a nursing house is exactly, but if we go back 100 years in time, a family took care of his own, like, it was very close to the caregivers are the members of the family. And of course it has difficulties to get along with. Do you think it will be a bigger problem even in the upcoming years, in the future? People who don't have the connection at home anymore because they are alone, they're a widower. It will even be more difficult to connect, or
I think that in Latin America, yeah, we have a very different, and in Spain, a different relationship with retirement homes, because we pass from all people living with their families, like in big houses, like with the grandparent, the father of the grandparents, like big families, to live in small places that when you need retirement homes, because there's not space for all the family in some way, and retirement homes start to exist like in a very like high or increase the retirement homes 10 years ago. And I think that we didn't make the real transition, like retirement homes like start existing, but without the previous life that the people have at home. So they pass to live in big families, to live in these places that for them it's like a symbolic death, because they completely break the relationship that they have with their families. So I think that we are in this transition moment that we really need to understand that we need retirement homes, but in a way that they must be connected with the families. Like in that retirement home, only one woman went on Sundays to have lunch with their family, and she was like the one that everybody admires. Like, yeah, you can be in a retirement home, but you need to go once per week or once per month. It's not more, but to see your family and to share with others, and to have, as do you say, as to have different roles. Like they have a role there in the retirement home, but they still need to have their role in their own families and not cut with their previous life. Like Sergio has different roles there, but the women that are there doesn't have different roles. So that's, I think it's what they need. Like they need other social roles.
Yeah, yeah. And Sergio at one point was an eye-opener for some of the ladies. They had new energy because of his new vibe. And there is, of course, some very touching, sad scenes. I remember the poetry reading of one lady in her bed, very, very beautiful scene, but also some very happy scenes in which he celebrates, and there is like the big party and the dancing, and they have a lot of fun. And maybe you can add a little on how you tried also to put the nice soundtrack and nostalgic, very cheerful soundtrack. Where did you find these? Were they typical Latin American songs, or where did you find them?
Yeah, the film had that mood, as do you say, like it's light and dark, it's happy and sad, and my feeling of that place, it was like a really joyful place, and I have really good time, even if the people it's living like difficult moments in day by day, they have lights and they enjoy it a lot. So I think that the music also have that role. Like, do you have all that music that they have in the parties, like are super happy, and in the same time you have the film noir, everything in a film noir reference in the soundtrack that Vincent construct, like and nostalgic and melancholic, because I think that they have like reference of film noir, but they have different tones. Someone are more funny, someone are more nostalgic, because in that place that emotions lives. I think that in documentary you cannot say like, yeah, it's as in fiction, it's a drama or it's a comedy or it's a film noir. Like all the genres are inside this reality, because in your day by day, like I don't know, on Monday when we know the Oscar nominees, like one hour I was crying, and in the next one I was laughing, and it was like, yeah, it's part of all the emotions that you can live in a day. Or I can lose people that I love, but I can have a nice days too.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. How do you hope people will remember this film? Maybe a difficult question, but
I really hope that the people will remember this film as a film that invites them to reconnect with their families. Like, because as I have been seeing in Latin America and in Chile, like everybody that see the film starts saying like, I call my grandmother, I call my grandfather, I want to visit my mom, I want to visit my father. So that kind of, I really hope that they will remember the film as a film that make them connect again.
Okay, beautiful. I think for everyone there is a message in this film. I think also for young and old, probably you know already some very young audiences that appreciated your film. And the feedback will be as big and as positive as it just works for every age, this film.
It has been like a super open audience and a super like family film that I didn't know that before. I discovered with the streaming that everybody told me, as we didn't have theatrical, everybody told me like, I saw it with my son, with my mother and my grandmother, and it's what, okay, all the family is seeing this film.
Wow. So in Chile, you have theatrical viewings now. We can.
No, we have only streaming. Yeah.
Only streaming. Okay. We really hope that in May the Mole Agent will be out in cinemas. But for the festival, we also hope everyone enjoyed the ending film. It's the last film of the program of Move. We're very proud to have the Mole Agent on the program. And I thank you a lot, Maite, for this nice talk. We know a lot more now, a lot of details, yeah, more appreciation, even more.
Thank you.